Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you again for tuning in, guys, and welcome back to Peace, Love, and Light with the Queen Keon. It's your girl, Queen Keon here, and today we're going to talk about something that is a little bit more serious. It might be a little touchy, trigger warnings alert, right? We're going to talk a little bit about mental health and pretty much overcoming anxiety and depression and finding tools that we can use to properly help us navigating our emotional and mental trauma while we're processing those phases, because we all know how it can be a little hard to find your way back to yourself and back to the things that make you, all the things that make you happy when you're dealing with those kind of episodes. And I know personally I do have trouble getting out of ruts, so I felt like let's talk about it. Why not? It's not taboo. It's something that we all deal with. It's something that's very common. So why aren't we talking a little bit more about mental health? Well, today we are. So stay tuned. Go ahead. Grab your wine, grab your weed, grab your boo thing, grab your snuggle pillow, your snuggie, your emotional support animal, anything that helps guide you in your self-care. Grab it and stay tuned. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. So I guess we can go ahead and start with a mental health check-in. How's everybody doing? I know personally for me, it's been a toughie. The last few weeks have been very interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I not only started off 2022 with such good, energy and with a good momentum, but I also ended 2021 with such a great momentum and pretty much, set my intentions, started working on my goals. And it seems like, after that first month in the quarter, things just started to feel a little shaky, and I feel like it's going to come with the territory. With changes and with growth comes challenges. We have those obstacles and those oppositions that may come in the way, but it's up to us to continue to push forward and make the things happen that we want to happen. So sometimes we know that can take a toll on you mentally and emotionally. It just seems like, things got to the point where it didn't feel, I guess, as easy as it began to feel in the beginning. At first, I was like, okay, I got this. I know that things are going to get tough. I know that this is a new journey and that there will be new challenges, but I got this. And, just a few weeks ago, I started really feeling like in a rut, just started to really feel down about my journey and about myself and about my pace. And I forgot what it was to have patience.
Atwater Productions and Publishing is an event and media curator where we create online content and live events to market and promote our products and services. Not only do we produce our own content, we also provide platforms for affiliated artists and entrepreneurs within the communities that we touch. So head over to our Instagram page, Atwater, ATWATERPRODPUB.
Overall, guys, the key word here is patience, right? When it comes to our mental and emotional journey, and even just the overall journey in life, even if you aren't dealing with, overcoming certain mental issues, pretty much you have to learn to have patience with yourself overall. No matter the situation, circumstances, is something that we have to learn when it comes to other people, right? So why not apply the same thing to us? And I feel like it's one of those things, like, it's easier said than done, right? Because having patience for others, that's something that honestly, it's taken me a long time to learn. I'm still in the process of learning, but I have noticed that I am better with others, more so than I am with myself. So let's just go ahead and think about that journey, that process of learning to have patience with others, and then add to that learning to have patience with ourselves. Because the thing is, when we learn to have patience with others and we start to really start considering people, not like in a selfless way, but like really considering them and what they might be going through when it comes to their mental and their emotional health, right? Really thinking about how things might affect them. When we start considering them in that light and we start really seeing them as a reflection of ourselves, it makes us look within. It makes us do that work, also known as shadow work. And that process, honestly, it can make or it can break you, right? It's one of those things. Shadow work and self-reflection, self-awareness, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to even want to say, hey, I'm going to start working on me and working on the way I handle things and the way I see things, and think about how they might not just affect myself, but affect others, right? But then let's add all of that to the mix. I like to think that the best self-care is lip care. So if you're as invested in your lips as me, then make sure you head over to Queen Kisses on Instagram and Facebook. Queen Kisses has a variety of lip care products ranging from lip balm, lip exfoliator, and lip nighttime renewal mask. She also has a few apparel options as well. So if you would like your own Queen Kisses hoodie or Queen Kisses face mask, then make sure you head on over to @Q_Kisses. That's right. That's @Q_Kisses on Instagram and Facebook. And don't worry, Kings. There is a men's collection as well called Kings Only. So after you pretty much add, the having the patience for others, plus the learning patience for yourself, plus the processing your shadow work, which is definitely a journey, and once again takes the big P word, patience, you end up in this cycle, I feel like, almost of wanting to do better, to become the utmost best version of yourself that you can possibly be. But you're also stuck in that transitional phase where it's like you're still growing. You still don't know what the next step is that's going to get you to your ultimate growth. So you're just constantly going through the motions and almost, I feel like, beating yourself up. Like, I can't talk for everyone else. I don't know if this is how you feel, but this is how I feel. This is not the method to my madness, but this is my mad process, if anything, before I get to the overall clarity, So it's just the circling back and forth between knowing that, yes, I am going to ultimately be this amazing person. But right now I feel stagnant. I feel like I'm in this place of disarray and confusion and self-doubt. And it just leaves you really anxious, and it can be depressing. It could be a really depressing state, And that's why I said, you take all that, you put all that together, and then you think about the next phase, right? The trials, the tribulations that come pretty much from setting these boundaries, from pretty much trying to prevent basically additional trauma, but in a way you kind of create your own obstacles, because once again, it's growth, it's a journey. You're going to go through different levels and phases of it, right? So we have to have that patience with ourselves. Currently searching for products to aid you in your spiritual journey? If so, I have just the brand for you. Kimono Grace. Kimono Grace is a lifestyle brand that provides products that lead their clients towards spiritual growth. The purpose is to bring healing to the world by clearing it of negative energy with smudging, crystal healing, and manifesting positive energy. Taking it a step beyond healing the body, mind, and spirit, the products are sent out, bringing with them harmony and balance. So if you're currently looking for spiritual products that will aid you in your journey, head on over to @Kimono Grace on Instagram. That's KIMONO GRACE on Instagram, and check out their products. Next step, right, guys? So taking all that information into account and thinking about the things that may basically trigger us, so to say, how can we better cope in these situations, right? What are things that we can do? What are some tools that we can use to help us when we're dealing with depression and anxiety? And this is one of the questions that I do have for this episode. So please feel free to email me or respond to the message in this episode and just share with me, what do you do to cope with your anxiety and your depression? So I'll share. For me personally, I am a very creative and artistic person. So I usually find a sense of release when I do something related to art. And honestly, that can be any and everything you can think of. Sometimes I like to color. Coloring and drawing, sometimes people think is a child's task, but I feel like it's really good for our minds as adults because it's almost like a meditation mode, you know? It gives us a moment to pretty much have a second of clarity without having to really ponder over things, you know, as intensely as we usually do. Usually when I'm coloring, it's a lot of free thinking involved. It's a lot of random things that I'm thinking about as well. I might honestly have a moment where I'm thinking about what colors I'm going to use next, and I think about the shape that I might be drawing if I'm drawing something. Sometimes when I'm painting, I'm thinking about the texture that I would like to pretty much incorporate into the painting, the shapes, once again, the colors, whatever the case might be. Then we have tasks such as reading. Reading is another cool task that I like to do when I'm having moments of anxiety because it kind of almost like frees my mind in a sense. I kind of just get looped up in someone else's story. I mean, I guess just having to be concerned about someone else's problems or breaking down another story helps me kind of get out of my problems and pretty much step outside of myself. Something else that I really like to do is dance. I'm not the best at it. I'm not a choreographer. I don't even really know choreographed dances, but just to freely be able to move my body, whether that be sensually, whether that be just for fun, whether that be in the sense of doing some form of yoga or Pilates. It's just the movement and the flowing of my body that helps with, you know, those anxious feelings. Something else that helps too is singing and writing. For me, I like to write about how I'm feeling. And after I write about it, pretty much, you know, put it out there, record it, you know. It doesn't have to be for anyone else to even hear. It can really specifically just be for you, you know. That's the point of it. It's a form of self-care. You're doing everything that you're doing to get out of your anxiety and your depression for you. So when people usually talk to me about dealing with these kind of things, like I'm not a therapist or anything, but when my friends or, you know, might have a sibling that asks me like, well, what do you do when you're feeling sad? That's usually some of the things that I come up with. It's the most minute thing you can possibly think of, but it feels good. It feels good to me. So do what feels good to you. Are you looking for a skincare routine that works for you? Or better yet, works together instead of combating each other? Then you need to check out the It's Skincare Butter System. It's Skincare Butter System is this new natural product created by the No Nickname Projects that helps rejuvenate and repair your skin. I promise you, this stuff is so amazing. The facial exfoliator alone will leave your skin feeling so cleansed and moisturized at the same time that you already know from step one, you're going to have amazing skin. So if you're interested in changing your skincare routine and making it a system, then head over to the It's Skincare Butter Skincare System on Instagram. That's the It's Skincare Butter Skincare System, and you can check out the No Nickname Projects on Instagram. And again, I know, guys, bear with me. It is easier said than done. It's definitely, once again, a journey. It's a process, a work in progress for sure. Everyone pretty much is developing at their own pace. They're growing at their own pace. And sometimes, there can be minor things that may interrupt or sometimes shift our changes and our growth, but we just have to remember to persevere and to look forward to the ultimate goal, to the bigger picture. Everything that we go through as of now is momentary, is temporary, and that's just something that I also like to remind myself once again when I'm dealing with episodes of anxiety and depression, which sometimes is daily for me. I just have to really remember that I'm gonna be great. Ultimately, that's what it is, and tell myself that right now is just a moment and I'm going to get through it, and the way I get through it will determine how great I will be and who I will be, because it will not only show me, but also show others and show the world how I handle whatever it is that comes my way, right? Whether it's a good moment, a bad moment, it's about how you handle it and how you move through it, how you shift your perspective in that moment rather than letting that moment and allowing it to shift you and shift how you look at things and feel about things. It's up to you to basically find something that you can learn from each situation that will move you forward. And I feel like the reason why we're supposed to go through the things we go through individually is so that way we can help others. And I know that everything that I go through is minor because there's someone out there dealing with something worse, So I'm not trying to say basically that my problems are minute or anyone else's in comparison to, the next person's, because in reality, that's the problem. That is something that can add to what we're already experiencing, what we're already feeling, which is competing, the feeling of competition and comparison. And I know that I'm big on that, which is something that I actually need to do better with. I'm constantly comparing myself to others, comparing my journey, comparing my process, and it doesn't get me anywhere but just in another circle of madness. So I feel like that's something also that we need to work on. And once again, I don't speak for everyone. Everyone has different forms of depression, different forms of anxiety, whether it's clinically diagnosed or not. I'm going to just throw it out there. It still exists. It doesn't mean that just because someone has yet to go to a therapist that they are not experiencing those feelings, and it's no one's place to tell someone what they are and what they aren't feeling. So I pretty much made this episode for people who may be feeling anything similar to what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through. And, it's not even to a severe level or a point in which I feel like I am feeling mentally ill necessarily, but it's just about mental health overall. That's what this is about. It's about maintaining your mental and emotional health, because your emotions and your mental and emotional, they basically all play into each other. So I feel like it's really just about having that awareness and constantly working on ourselves and being patient with ourselves and knowing that we're growing and everyone else around us is still growing. It doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the shape, the size, where they're at in their life. Everyone's on their own journey. Everyone's on their own process. So respectfully, give yourself the same patience and love yourself, because I love you. Would you like to be featured on Peace, Love, and Light with Queen Keon? Or maybe you would love to have your song played. Maybe you even have a few questions, and guess what? I have answers. So if you would like to interact with the Queen herself, please feel free to email me at thequeenkeon@gmail.com. I take questions, inquiries, and crazy stories. So please talk to me, guys. I would love to hear from you. Thank thank you so much again for listening today, guys. I do appreciate all your support. And if you would like to continue supporting me, please head over to Instagram and check out my page at LOC_EMPRESS. That's Lock_Empress. And my culinary page is Chef Keon, CHEFKEON. And in the link in the bio, you can find more information about my businesses and all the services that we provide. So check it out. And thank you so much again for supporting me.